This is Sophie Heller, and this is an ACT English meaning question. This question is asking us to find the right way to connect this sentence, which tells us about horror movies and the special place in the lives of theatergoers, and this sentence where we find that in horror movies we find assumptions about science. So we're going to want to find the right way to transition between these two different sentences. So when we're looking at a transition like this, we want to pay attention to a couple things. One is punctuation. So we want to make sure we're not committing any punctuation errors. Another thing is our transition words, so we want those to make sense. And we want to pay attention to just having good style. So let's look at our answer choices and see which of the choices best satisfies these three things. So with our first answer choice, we have this because when. So it's correct that we're separating this by a period, so we're not committing any run-on errors, but it's really redundant to have started this sentence with because and then to start this sentence with because. It's not a mark of good writing to have two sentences that begin the same way. So because of that, that's not going to be our best answer choice. That's something to avoid. Answer choice 2 places a comma and then this when. But 2 doesn't work because it commits a comma splice error. So a comma splice is when we use a comma to combine two separate standalone sentences. The thing that we could use here, we could use a semicolon to combine here. So that's something that we could use to separate two things. We could also use a period, but a comma is no good because it can only combine clauses that can't stand alone. So this is wrong use of punctuation. It's going to create this comma splice and this very, very, very long sentence. So that's not any good. Choice number 5 is bad because it has no punctuation. And since this clause about horror movies and this clause about science assumptions about horror movies, these are two independent clauses. We won't be able to separate them just by and because that'll create a run-on situation. We'd need some sort of punctuation to separate the two. So that's not going to be good. Choice 3 is good for a lot of reasons. One, you have the semicolon, which is able to combine these two separate standalone phrases. So this one and this one. So that's good. Yet is also good because it's a logical transition word that talks about how horror movies have always had a special place in the lives of theatergoers, yet we're additionally finding out this stuff about science with horror movies. So it's really logical. It has that comma there for pause, and it doesn't commit any punctuation errors. So choice 3 is going to be our right answer.